Hey friends, Casey Ashmore back in the studio. Right now we're talking about outcry situation that might trigger both a civil and a criminal companion case regarding allegations of family violence or abuse, and how one might be faced with a big decision whether to participate in the investigation to try to clear your name or to invoke your right to silence. And that's a real hard call. It's a very, very difficult call because, you know, when you're the sole target of that investigation, it has to be tempting to not give the government any evidence that could be flipped against you, that could be used to strengthen the case the government may ultimately bring against you. So that's a big decision, and you need to get some great advice before you decide to do one or the other. Whether you decide to invoke the right to silence or you decide to run to the light and participate in the investigation, you need to get some good advice. And, you know, there are a lot of factors that go into that decision. And let me explain why the right to silence is such a big deal and why the Founding Fathers gave it to us. Is because they knew that even almost 300 years ago, the greatest fear that most people have is speaking in public. People don't even like speaking in public on Facebook or social media. It's rare. And I think as our society continues to go through this information age, you know, you see Clubhouse, people are starting to lose their phobia of speaking in public. But we're not there yet. Certainly weren't there when the Constitution was drafted, and the Founding Fathers gave us this valuable right to silence because they knew that when people are afraid, when people have a phobia, right, a fear of speaking in public, they exhibit the same kind of physical behavior that people attribute when folks are lying, right? They're twitchy, they're nervous, sweaty palms, flushed, sweaty face. They make the same kind of physical gestures as somebody who's being evasive and dishonest. And that's why the founders gave us the right to silence. And that's why it's been incorporated in the state of Texas's constitution, right? So you actually have two bites at the right of silence in the state of Texas. So don't wave that lightly. On the other hand, I have never met a law enforcement officer, and there are a few out there who don't. I mean, let's face it, folks. Law enforcement is out there to be suspicious. Their heads on a swivel. They're always looking around, checking for the bad guy. If you're not participating in the investigation, they're going to wonder, what do you have to hide? So if you're going to elect to waive that right, make sure you're ready for it. Make sure you're prepped. Make sure that you're ready to go. It's not something you should give up lightly. It can be very beneficial to participate in that investigation, to run to the light. On the other hand, it's not something you should do lightly. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit me up at chat@ashmorelawfirm.com, chat@ashmorelawfirm.com, or hit me on any one of these social media platforms. Leave me a message or comment. I'll reply back in a video message back to you and a direct message. Thanks again for watching. More in the studio next.